Scrappy Peeps, Suzanna here today for the C edition of Scrapbooking Boys to Men with my friend Christine. This is my C layout for Champ, and this is a picture of my son Nicholas, and he is wearing not this year's but last year's his first state championship ring. So the title was actually supposed to be Champ, so C for Champ, yes, but we have a lot of championship events for this particular child, so I had to distinguish what it was, and I know that it's high school because of the ring. Only high school has these rings, championship rings. So I have a photo of him wearing the ring, and it's primarily his fist, so then the ring is in focus, and then using depth of field I got him sort of fuzzy in the background, and that's intentional. And then there is a close-up of the ring. That's the photo on the right-hand side there. And that has his name and the event and freestyle on it. You can see I had two photos. Both were originally 3x4, but then I really liked, because of the offset of the different sizes of the banners that I'm going to put, you'll see that coming up. I liked how having the different sizes of the photos offset those banners. I also felt that the proportions of the ring in the larger photo worked better with the ring in that smaller photo, so that they were similar sizes, and also it gave you a better proportional view of my son versus the ring, if that makes any sense. So the papers that I'm using are a self-created kit. That piece of paper, that square paper that's sitting on top of the orange paper there, that is from Elle Studio, and this is a really, really old collection from way before I designed for Elle Studio. I have always been an Elle Studio fan, and I have mixed that in with some Bella Boulevard, various collections from Bella Boulevard. And so the two pieces, the background, are Bella Boulevard, and then the banners are going to be Elle Studio. And I've chosen the color palette based on that Elle Studio striped paper there. So I'm going to create 3 banners. That blue one is, I believe it's 5x7, and then I have the orange one that is going to be 6 inches tall, and then that stripe there is 5 inches tall. And so in order to create the banners, literally all I did was created a rectangle, and then I knew for the height and the width of the top of the banner. And then I knew what half of that total width was, put a little mark there, and then just lined up the lines on my trimmer and cut straight to that center mark there from the corners, and that created symmetrical banners. Really, there's no precision to this. It's, well, you do want precision because you want equal triangles, but really there wasn't much more than that. I just wung it to make these triangles. And so the colors in this end up being the color palette coming from that piece of pattern paper there, and that is what determined I didn't go with collections. I went more with what was going to provide tone on tones and match that Elle Studio. So Elle Studio did have that lighter blue. I don't believe there was orange, and the red I had already used. So I want to layer the banners there, and then I thought that maybe I would use that stripe, that multicolor stripe behind the photo to tie everything in together, but I didn't love it, and I felt like it took away from the blue that was in my son's shirt there. So I've pretty much committed to that basic layout, and so I want to adhere everything down. I use a lot of tone on tones, and I use a lot of Bella Boulevard, actually, to be honest, is because they have a lot of tone on tones that are simple tone on tones. And so I'm going to gut this because I know that I will be able to use the inside of it for another project. And then I'm going to adhere this down. Now, originally my plan had been to do some stitching, but I'm going to be honest and tell you that I'm kind of a lazy scrapper. And so while the intention is always there that I'm going to do stitching, I was also going to stitch around the edges of the banner, and you will see from the close-ups that none of that happened. So I lightly tack things down with the idea that I want to be able to pull it back up for stitching, and this is more just layout and placement. However, I go back in later and tack things down a little firmer because nope, I don't do any stitching. I do want the center of this striped banner to be in the center there. So if you look at the tip, see how the center of that striped tip is centered between the space, the gap of the blue and the orange there. So here I am playing with layers. I really wanted to layer up the photo, and you can see I'm trying to make that work desperately, but ultimately it really doesn't need it. There's a lot of color on the top, and to just let that photo stand out, it actually stands out best without, it gets lost in the colors of all of those pattern papers that I had wanted to use. So I settled for, that is a leftover just navy blue tag from Elle Studio, again from this same collection that I'm working with, and then this is Noteworthy. That blue grid paper that I'm working with there is from the Noteworthy collection, and I'm going to just put a fine border behind my sun, and that is enough color down there. Family Fun, by the way, is the name of the Elle Studio collection that I used from that, where I've pulled that stripe, the blue and the blue from. So I'm going to put this on some foam on top of this Noteworthy grid, and that is going to be just the very simple layer behind the photo there. And then that is the basic foundation of the layout, and it's time to just decorate it. So I originally have these on off angles, you can see, but I decided that I didn't like the off angles because everything else was pretty much straight, and so it looked much better straight. It made the straight lines in that banner look funny, and so I went with straight. So here are, I think I have 4 or 5 different Bella Boulevard collections here. I knew I wanted to use these letters with the stars on them. I only end up using the A, which is why I then go into some other collections, because I needed to be able to get the orange, that light blue, and the darker blue. The light blue isn't quite the same. It kind of has a hint of green to it, but I go with it because I really liked the way that the letters screamed champ to me, and they were fun, and so I just alternated collections and tried to get all of the colors in the title there. You can see that long P there, so the letters start small and they kind of just grow bigger. I wanted them to start small, grow bigger, and then grow small again, and so I'm just going to chop off the bottom of that P there for a little bit more symmetry in the title, and it looks a little bit more balanced there. So now I'm going to just, again, go through these collections and pull out some embellishments. No idea what I'm going to use, just kind of see what tickles my fancy. These say love. I love these little banners, and while I didn't really need any more banners out there, I really like the way that that red punctuates what's going on in that collection, in that corner up there, and wraps that corner up. So it appears that stars are going to be the embellishment of choice here. You see that I had some Chamel stars. That's why I had pulled that Chamel stuff, was to use the stars, but I've got a lot of navy already, and I like the cleanness of the clean stars as opposed to those hand-drawn stars that she has. See, and I have a glitter one that matches with the yes, and I decide to just let that go. I really like that glitter yes, because it just, there's something about the way he's holding his fist, kind of laughing as I'm getting this photo, and the way that the yes just punctuates the happiness in this photo, and so I'm going to stick with that. So right now I've put that Elle Studio. So I did a thing, and I sorted all of my Elle Studio die cuts and labels. I have thousands of them. I've been designing with them for 2 years now, I think, but I've been collecting for a long time. And so with my daughter's help, I color coordinated everything, and so each of those little tea bag drawers has a color, and so I'm looking through the orange, yellow, and then the reddy pinks to look for embellishments that coordinate. So I'm using that yellow Elle Studio yellow orangey one to fill in that white space beside the photo there. I like the way it ties this bottom photo cluster into the top right hand banner cluster. And then I also have that saying that says life is good, and I want something else. I feel like I need more color other than all of that blue down there to tie the bottom of the layout into the top of the layout, but I'm going to end up changing that orange banner because I don't like the heart. It's literally the only heart on the page. And then I'm also going to take out that red label. I'm not sure what it says because it just doesn't coordinate, and I want to put a few more stars in, so I'm going to pull out some Elle Studio Puffy Sticker stars and put those in. I am going to, when I amend that yellow, the label, the banner, the heart banner, I'm actually going to cut it out of Elle Studio paper and then put a white puffy sticker on so that all of the elements that are decorating this page end up being stars. And the reason that I get rid of that red banner is the horizontal competes, the vertical competes with all of the horizontals that I have in the page here. So I'm going to try and incorporate it, but I end up changing my mind with that. I'm also going to move that life is good from where it is over to the left-hand side of the photo, again, just for a cluster of color to tie all of those colors in. Be sure to head over to Christine's page. Thanks for stopping in today. I hope you enjoy this series. If there's anything in particular you want to see, please leave it in the comment box down below. Take care.